What is up, guys? Welcome back to Keep It Hoop. So James Harden wants out. We already knew that, but yesterday after the
Which
loss
is
to the Lakers, made it very clear, and he had this to say about it.
which is not good. Just everything, and it was clear. I love this city. I literally, have done everything that I can. Um, you know, I mean, this situation is crazy. It's something that I don't think can be fixed. So,
So yeah, he seems fed up, and again, said the situation is crazy and it's unchangeable, which is a little unfortunate because I do feel for John Wall and Christian Wood. I think those are the two guys I thought about first when this news or when last night's news broke. Again, everybody knew James Harden wanted out, but I did think that had James Harden bought in and stayed committed, that this team could have been better than they were last year. I'm a big Russell Westbrook fan, always have been, but he's not playing well at all in Washington. He's putting up counting stats, but the play just doesn't is not efficient. A lot of turnovers, bad shots. The Wizards as a whole, they aren't playing great. They're not defending anyone. And you replace him with John Wall, who's had a really good resurgence year after coming back from the injuries, and Christian Wood's having another really good year after continuing his development that he showed last year. And Christian Wood gives James Harden a new weapon, a new dimension to that offense, a versatility that they hadn't seen before. A guy who can rim run, but also shoot threes and also take advantage of mismatches down in the post. He's having a really good season, so I like what he's doing. And again, John Wall, I've been a fan of him. I think that what he's been doing this year has been great as well. But you can just tell in James Harden's play the lack of shots, the lack of aggression, and he's kind of just going through the motions. And look, James Harden's weight and how big and chonky and fat he looks sometimes is kind of a running joke, a meme, a gag at this point. But I mean, this year he looks even worse. And I get it, he gets into shape when it matters for the most part, but I mean, he just looks uninterested. And it's been Rockets games for the most part have just kind of been not boring to watch, but just I don't know, a little unfortunate and disappointing. But yeah, so he wants out, and the trade rumors have really picked up over the last few hours. I think Houston knows that it's time, that they can't really milk it anymore, because I was originally on the side that Houston should milk this out as long as possible and hold on to him. But I think Houston realizes that it's not only, that it's starting to affect other guys. It looks like, and John Wall talked about how getting that chemistry and trying to make things work with James Harden hasn't been the easiest. He even said last night that he thinks that wanting out after 9 games is kind of ridiculous, and that he wishes the whole team would just buy in, because he does think they can be good. And I do too. Again, I think this team can be good. But yeah, so Brooklyn and Philadelphia have been the two teams that have been linked to James Harden ever since he wanted out. And there's been other teams, but those are the two teams that have been most heavily linked. And there's a couple of things to consider here. So one, if it is Brooklyn, then Kyrie is out. Now, the interesting thing to know is the Rockets don't want Kyrie. So for the Nets to make this trade work, they would have to find a third team who would be willing to give up pieces, take on Kyrie, and then those pieces would then go to the Rockets, along with the first round picks that the Nets said they're willing to give up. And it has to be a decent amount, right? Because both the Thunder and the Pelicans set a precedent, a pretty high standard for the amount of picks you can get for a star. So the Rockets are definitely going to try to milk as many picks out of that as possible, because you're not going to get equal return. James Harden's a top 5 player when engaged, and you're not going to get any of the other guys. You're not getting LeBron. You're not getting AD. You're not getting Luka. You're not getting Giannis. You're not getting Steph. You're not getting KD. Like, you're not getting these guys. So the Rockets just aren't getting equal value. So they're going to have to get either a lot of young valuable players, or assets in the form of draft picks. But the Nets are willing to let go of both Kyrie and picks to make this trade happen. Now, who's going to be that third team? It's all speculation up to now. There could be a myriad of teams, but I don't think it's going to be a bottom tier tanking, developing team. A team that's in the middle of a rebuild. They probably won't. Kyrie's not young anymore, and it's probably going to have to be a mid-tier team that thinks that they're a move away from being able to compete. Maybe a team, like I was talking about it with my friends, but maybe a team like Orlando, right? They have a myriad of young talent, some wings that they could maybe package to Houston. Maybe a team like Indiana, they have a decent amount of talent. It'd be interesting to see who they're willing to let go of. Um, but yeah, so that third team is really going to be key. Again, not a lot of speculation on who it could be so far, but that with the picks going over to Houston, that third team would then get Kyrie, and then obviously Brooklyn would get James Harden. Now, the interesting thing in this scenario is then we also have to take a look at Kevin Durant. Now, he's not going anywhere. Obviously, he's having an MVP type season. He's playing really well, and he's playing in his first back-to-back since injuring his Achilles against the Knicks, actually. But so that would be good for him. But Kyrie was a big reason that KD went to the Nets. They were really good friends, and they talked about how they wanted to play with each other. If Kyrie is out, and granted, Kevin Durant and James Harden are really good friends and have history from back in their OKC days. But if Kyrie's out, what does KD think of that? What does KD think about even this whole Kyrie leaving the team and kind of going rogue situation? What does he think about that? I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that. KD can be kind of to himself about certain things. So I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that. But, what's going on in KD's mind about the whole Kyrie situation in general. But then, yeah, if he leaves, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. If it is Philadelphia, on the other hand, Ben Simmons is the guy most likely to be moved. His name hasn't been concretely linked to the recent trade rumors, but most likely that's who's going to be on the move. James Harden and Joel will be an interesting combo. Two guys who have kind of their own ego, I guess, their own style of playing. A pick and roll between those guys, or pick and pop, whatever they want to run. If they can buy in and really try to make it work, could be deadly. I mean, those two guys are two of the most talented offensive guys in the league. They're up there, right? So it could be deadly. Ben Simmons goes to Houston in that case. Him and John Wall don't necessarily mesh, but if you do look at a future of Ben Simmons and Christian Wood, I personally like that a lot. I think, again, Christian Wood is a really versatile big who has shown he can do multiple things, and he's still developing, right? He's not, he's not hit his peak, and he's not in his prime, and Ben is, still becoming a better player as well. And if he could, I'm also interested to see Ben have his own team and kind of have a team built around him, because I do think he can be even better than he is right now. John Wall is a guy that would stay, but he's not a guy that would stay, 5-10 years down the line. So it is what it is. And I do think, right, once you get that toxicity out, because it's, even if James Harden is not trying to be toxic, that locker room can't be comfortable all the time, right? Your star player wants out. You have guys who are really close with James Harden, like PJ Tucker, who are remnants of that whole run. And then you have the new guys in John Wall and Christian Wood and Boogie Cousins, who's really close to John Wall as well. So, I'm sure it gets awkward sometimes, and they're, grown adults and they're professional for the most part, right? So, like, I don't think there's problems per se, but, once this trade goes down, I think it'll be better for Houston to just kind of move on. They had a good run with James. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it happen. I will say that James, I know, has a bit of a gripe with, the franchise, and they just couldn't get it done, right? And maybe he just wants a change of scenery, and that's fair. All people can benefit greatly from a change of scenery, regardless of your profession. But I will also say, like, remember James Harden's performance against the Warriors in Game 7 a few years ago, where he missed a bunch of threes in a row and missed a chance to go to the finals, right? He can't blame Daryl Morey or the ownership for that. Like, that's on him and his teammates. He can't blame front office and his coaching staff or Daryl Morey for when they lost to Golden State when they didn't have KD, right? So, like, and I'm sure he's not saying it's all their fault, and he's taken responsibility for it in the past, but it does seem like his time there is done. Again, I don't know which trade the Rockets are leaning towards. It's all speculation at this point. Who that third team would be in the Nets deal would be interesting, because you're looking at multiple factors. The Rockets kind of moving on and getting whatever pieces they get from that third team. You obviously have Brooklyn with James Harden and KD and what that would look like. And then that third team getting Kyrie could really shake some things up in the playoff race. And then if it's the Ben Simmons trade, you have the James Harden, Joel Embiid experiment. Ben Simmons with Christian Wood, I think would be interesting to watch. And then Houston kind of gets to turn the pages, move on. But yeah, I mean that's it for today. I just wanted to kind of give my opinion, kind of break down updates on this news. I might do a little bit more of these. Whenever we have some breaking news or just something I want to talk about, kind of spitball a little bit, short segments here and there. And we might even just do so on our social media pages, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Follow us. Links will be in the description below, and we will follow back. But yeah, we'll stay updating people on this ongoing situation and offer opinion, breakdown, wherever it is needed or wherever there's a chance to. Thanks for watching again, guys, and make sure to watch our last video. We did one yesterday on the Nets defensive woes. Stay tuned for more. We should have another video up Thursday and Friday as well. But yeah, thanks again, and see you guys soon. Peace.